uncovering the real story of Manny Pacquiao. Considered to be one of the greatest boxers not only of his generation but of all time, the legendary Pac-Man was unlike any other. Achieving historic feats no one has ever tasted, this boxer was not only a boxing legend, but a diamond of his country, the Philippines. Regarded as the best southpaw fighter ever, he was a force of nature. Manny Pacquiao was one of the most influential figures in the world. With his whole country behind him and his electrifying performances in the ring, it was hard to put a dent in his armory. Rightfully adored by most, Pacquiao was unstoppable. Pacquiao won multiple titles across 8 divisions as a professional. This was a feat unlike anything before. Let's take a look at the untold story of this legend. Born in December 1978, the young Pacquiao was born with a great destiny to achieve. Having an innate talent for boxing, Pacquiao was introduced to the sport by his uncle, Sardo Mejia. In 1990, I watched a fight between Mike Tyson and James "Buster" Douglas. This fight inspired and invigorated the young Pacquiao with an overwhelming passion to succeed. Not only was boxing a passionate affair for Pacquiao, but the young talent knew this was a way out to save his struggling family. Pacquiao put everything he had into it. After a month of intense training, he began traveling to fight higher-ranked opponents, whom he defeated. At 15, he was considered the best junior boxer in his country. Pacman finished his amateur career with a record of 60-4. Next up was his professional career. At the impressive age of 16, the future champion made his professional debut. The start of his professional career was rosy as he won his first 11 bouts convincingly. Pacquiao was known for his relentless pressure against his adversaries. He could deliver blows from every angle. But in his early days, Pacquiao struggled to meet the weight requirements for the flyweight division. After his impressive 11-win streak, Pacquiao would suffer the first loss of his career. In the first round against Rustico Torrecampo, the Philippines suffered a knockout loss in the 3rd round. A devastating body shot to his stomach sent him to the mat, and the young prodigy could go on no longer. Many attributed this loss to the deficiencies in his diet and his struggles to meet the weight requirements. But that loss would only be a slight bump on the round for Pacquiao. After an impressive streak of form again, which saw him use his combination style of hooks, jabs, and ferocious uppercuts to form his signature moves, soon an opportunity for an international title came his way. The WBC flyweight holder, Chachai Sasakul from Thailand, was experienced and lethal in the ring, with a record of 33-0. The fight meant everything for Pacquiao. He could make a name for himself and his family, so the prodigy gave it every single thing he had. Pacquiao's jabs and relentless nature proved too much for Sasakul to handle. A knockout after a left hook to Sasakul's face secured a win for Pacquiao. At just 19, he had become a world champion with the WBC title. This was the first of many more to come. Propelled to the status of a national hero, Pacquiao only grew in ambition. His following defense fights saw him at his very best with lethal punches. Pacquiao was known for always hitting his target. Many boxers sent a handful of punches with the hope of some doing damage, but the relentless and aggressive Pacquiao had incredible accuracy in his blows. Now making a good living and eating healthy, despite struggling to meet the weight class after being underweight, Pacquiao began to get overweight. Before his defense fights, Pacquiao would undergo dehydration and starve himself for days to meet the weight requirements. But this affected him heavily, and Pacman suffered another knockout defeat. After this, Pacquiao settled into a natural weight, and soon he had another title fight against Reynante Jamili. Jamili had never been knocked out, but this didn't last long. The fight ended in a knockout win for Pacquiao, and he claimed another title win. Looking to catapult his career to new heights, Pacquiao made his way to America. In 2001, a shot at the IBF Bantamweight World title presented itself to Pacquiao as there was an opening against the holder, Lelohonolo Ledwaba. Many in America and around the world had never heard of Pacquiao before the fight, but all that changed. Pacquiao was aggressive, and he used frequent jabs to disorient Ledwaba. His punches were very hard and took a toll on his adversary. In the 6th round, a technical knockout brought home the title for Pac-Man. Now the world knew his name. The champion is from the Philippines. Pacquiao became more than just a boxer. His country adored him. Politicians honored him. Next, he moved up to the featherweight division, where he faced three-time world champion Marco Antonio Barrera. Many thought Pacquiao was growing overconfident and reaching for things he couldn't handle. He was the underdog for everyone in this fight. Right from the onset, Barrera met the wrath of Pacquiao. Usually entering the ring with a smile on his face, acknowledging the cheers from his fans in the audience, Pacquiao was a different breed entirely when the bell rang. Pac-Man would land a jab, then close in on Barrera and send a barrage of blows that would stun the Mexican. The audience was left in a state of utter astonishment. Several times, Barrera fell to the floor. A dodge from Pacquiao, followed by brutal body shots at Barrera, saw the Mexican go to the floor once more. This time, he decided he had had enough, another flying point in Pacquiao's career. Pacquiao became a world champion in 3 different weight classes. Soon Pacquiao would face his longtime rival for the first time in his career, Manuel Marquez. In just the first round of the fight, Marquez was incredibly overwhelmed by Pacquiao, but after the first round, Marquez put on a fight for the ages. This was the start of the great rivalry. The fight was declared a draw. Next up was Pacquiao against Erik Morales. This was another incredible rivalry in the career of Pacquiao. In the first fight, the two went toe-to-toe, giving the fans an entertaining and enthralling fight. Neither had enough to win the fight by themselves, and it was down to the judges. Morales, being the more accurate puncher, secured the win by unanimous decision. After the sad loss for Pac-Man, his trainer began to work intensely with Pacquiao to make his right punches as deadly as his left. Soon, a rematch was scheduled. The fight was as entertaining and even better than the previous one. The two lethal boxers exchanged deadly blows that stunned each other. This time, Pacquiao came out victorious in the 10th round by technical knockout. With both fighters having a win against each other, a trilogy was in demand to settle the score. The fans got what they wanted. A third match was fixed. But this time, Pacquiao cleared up any opinion of Morales being the better fighter. Just in the third round, Pac-Man was victorious by knockout. Morales sat on the mat, dazed and unable to continue. Soon, a rematch between the great Pac-Man and Marquez was fixed. This was the second installment. The whole world stopped for the fight. Everyone tuned in. Both boxers, thoroughly experienced and with research, had a good go at each other. This wasn't a conservative fight. Defense hardly existed, and dangerous blows were constantly exchanged. Several to the head of Pacquiao, and the same for Marquez. Pacquiao eventually prevailed by a split decision, a huge triumph for the Filipino. In 2008, Pacquiao jumped weight classes and went head-to-head with the renowned Oscar de la Hoya. The odds were heavily against Pacquiao, who had no experience in this division. But people never seemed to learn to not bet against Pacquiao. His relentless nature and aggression were way too much for the Mexican. In the right round, Pac-Man won by knockout. After defeating a good number of Mexicans, he earned himself a new nickname, the Mexicutioner. Pacquiao became the first ever boxer to win a lineal championship in 4 different divisions. After slaughtering the much bigger Antonio Margarito, Pacquiao became a champion in 8 different divisions. By the time Pacquiao was about to fight Marquez for the 4th time, he was heavily distracted with affairs outside boxing. As a senator in the Philippines, he had other affairs to attend to. The fight against Marquez was clear evidence that one could not divide their attention as a boxer. Pacquiao was the underdog, and Marquez punished the Filipino with a 6th round knockout. Many were surprised a retirement didn't follow after the loss. But Pacquiao's heart belonged to boxing, and he wouldn't quit just yet. The fight with Marquez was voted as the fight of the year. His subsequent fights showed everyone he was nowhere done with boxing. Soon, a legendary fight was in the making: Pacquiao versus Mayweather. The revenue from the fight was larger than the GDP of 29 countries in the world. This was hyped as the fight of the century. Mayweather started superior with good dodges and great jabs. The 4th round saw the Filipino dominate as he cornered Mayweather and had him on the ropes. The fight lasted all 12 rounds, and the undefeated Mayweather remained undefeated after a split decision. The defeat didn't dent Pacquiao's legacy. Many even believed he was robbed. In the eyes of the fans, he was still a legend and a champion. A win against Keith Thurman, who vowed to retire Pacquiao, made Pacquiao the oldest welterweight champion in boxing history. Manny Pacquiao's career spoke of greatness beyond the four corners of the ring. Success all over was his legacy. He won the hearts of fans, he donated money to great causes, and he fought for something beyond himself and glory. This is why Pacquiao is more than a boxing champion in the hearts of many. Thanks for watching our video today. If you liked the video, please subscribe for the hottest boxing content out here. We have more boxing videos coming your way, so be on the lookout.